Hey guys, Kieran here. Today we're going to look at the funded trader program for Traders4Traders. So if you're not aware of what a funded trading program is, it's essentially a program whereby you can apply to be evaluated as a trader, and then you will be supplied with money from the company, and then you will take a percentage share of any profits you make. There are a number of programs out there today. You can take a look at my channel for many different programs. Today we're going to look at the Traders4Traders program. Now, Traders4Traders is predominantly an education-based program. So they have two tracks. One is the education track, where you can take multiple modules. They have long courses. They have face-to-face, one-on-one type mentorship programs, at the end of which you'll then be given a funded trading account. The second track, as it were, is the funded trader program only, so none of the educational stuff. Just like many other programs out there, you pay an evaluation fee, you have a profit target to hit, and you have risk requirements to adhere to. And if you pass the evaluation program, you then start trading a funded account with a profit split. So what we'll do today is we'll have a look at the funded trader program. We'll have a look at the risk requirements. We'll have a look at the evaluation, the funded account, and the scaling program, and just have a general view about what this offering looks like from Traders4Traders. All right, so let's start off by having a look at the evaluation. So it is a one-step evaluation. So we have no monthly subscription and no time limit. So these are the account sizes here. So we have a 50K, 100K, and a 25K account size. So what we'll do is we'll, for the purpose of comparison to many other programs, we'll start with 100K. So the 100K balance, that gives us a profit target of 12K and a max loss of 4K. So these are the two really important factors to look at first. So you can see here our max loss and our profit target is in a 3-to-1 ratio. So we have to make $12,000 before losing $4,000. So that's pretty difficult, let's say, compared with other programs. Some programs like FTMO, for example, offer a 1-to-1 ratio. However, with FTMO, it's a two-stage verification. So we have to bear in mind with Traders4Traders that this is a one-step verification. So once we have completed these steps, then we will automatically go into the funded account program. So that's a positive. So it's pretty tight, 3-to-1 ratio. And the other thing to mention here is we'll have a look at in a bit more detail in a minute, is the drawdown here is a trailing drawdown. So the more money you make, the drawdown moves up behind your profit up until your starting balance. So that's something to bear in mind if you have if you trade a fairly risky strategy and you have large swings as part of your normal trading. That's something to bear in mind. If you make a lot of profit, you can just draw down a tiny bit and hit that trailing drawdown. So looking at the account parameters, we also have the maximum cumulative position size, 10 lots. So that's a huge amount, really, for a 4K drawdown and a 2K weekly loss limit. You don't want to be trading really 10 lots, certainly on the FX, because just in the normal ebbs and flows of the markets, you'll find yourself getting close to your drawdown pretty fast. Any whipsawing could blow up your account. So that's good, though. They offer the option of large exposure if that's what you want to do. But yeah, keep in mind, obviously, you have a weekly loss limit of only 2K. So the prices for these accounts, so the 100K account is $350, $250 for the 50K, and $199 for the 25K. So these are our objectives, and alongside these objectives, we have the rules of engagement, which they specify here. So let's have a look at the rules of engagement. And this will give us just a bit more of a breakdown of exactly what we need to do. So this gives us a breakdown by account of our exposure, our weekly loss limit, and our maximum loss limit, which we've looked at already. And these are the rules of engagement. So do not exceed the maximum trade size. So we've talked about the exposure. Do not exceed the weekly loss limits, and do not exceed the maximum loss limits. Make the profit targets without breaching any rules or limits. A valid stop loss order must be attached to every open position. This is good practice. Make sure you're flat before extremely high impacting events. We'll have a look at the economic calendars that they provide in a minute. So this is an important one to remember. So some programs will allow you to hold your trades through news. And even in the case of the fivers, for example, they will allow you to hold your trades over the weekend. So with Traders for Traders, you have to bear in mind that you need to be managing your your account probably on a day-to-day basis. You at least need to be checking the economic calendar before taking any trades to know if you need to close that trade potentially later on in that day. Only trade the approved currency pairs and instruments. We'll have a look at these in more detail in a minute, but as a summary, they offer a pretty good, a broad range of markets to trade. You can trade all of the major FX markets. They also have some exotics in there as well. They also have gold and silver, some oil, and the equity indexes as well. So that's quite a good offering in terms of the instruments. No open positions over the weekends. There is no time limit to complete the practical assessment. This is something worth mentioning. So the fee that you pay would be a one-off fee for that particular evaluation. So there's no time limit. As long as you close your trades before major news and at the end of the week, then you're good. You can hold on to that trading account as long as you need to hit the profit targets. And if you breach any of the rules, you have to reset your account. Okay, so let's look in detail at some of these requirements. So make sure you're flat before extremely high impacting news. So you must be flat 5 minutes before the listed red upcoming events in the pairs related to the release. So you have to be flat 5 minutes before, and obviously during the news, but then as soon as the news is out, you can immediately trade straight away. The economic calendar that they provide is this here. So it gives you a breakdown. So for example, today is August the 16th. This is today. We only have one news event we need to be wary of, preliminary consumer sentiment. The impact is on all major pairs and USD related instruments. The event type, medium, until the data is released 4 hours. So today, for example, we would have to be very careful opening trades in any of the USD markets. Because we would have to close those trades within the next 4 hours and 50 minutes. So there's not too many events each day. So if we look on the 19th, the 20th, 20th, 21st, there is usually kind of one event a day, certainly in the ones that we can see here. We have on the 21st, we have 2 US dollar ones. So it's not every event you need to be wary of, just the major ones. But this Forex calendar, this economic calendar, I should say, is pretty good. It's pretty clear, gives you the countdown and obviously which markets you need to be flat for. One of the other cool things I noticed is the market conditions calendar, which I thought was quite cool. So this shows you, for example, today, 16th of August, normal liquidity, wait and see type of market. It gives you just a little bit of a market context overview for the day. Market drivers. This tells us what's driving the markets. It's nothing today, but August the 13th, Brexit all day. And any national holidays will be listed here. So that's quite an extensive economic calendar. Most programs, of course, offer an economic calendar. But I thought it was worth mentioning in addition because of these additional tabs. I thought it was pretty interesting. Only trade the approved currency pairs and instruments. So this is the markets we can trade. As you can see, we have loads of FX pairs here, all the major ones. We also have some more exotic type ones here. We have oil and gold and silver, and then a bunch of equity indexes as well, which is pretty cool. You'll find a lot of programs, they either offer FX or they offer more indice-based futures markets or commodities or things like this. So it's good that Traders4Traders offers FX, indices, the oils, metals. So that's a very good offering, I would say. Okay, no open positions during the weekend, no time limit, which is definitely noteworthy. And if you breach any rules, you need to reset your trading account to continue to be eligible for funding. The reset costs $199, and your account will be reset to the starting balance, regardless of the account balance at the time of the breach. Okay, so that's the evaluation. Let's have a look at the scaling for the funded account. So once we have completed our objectives, we'll then be given a funded account. The profit split is done on a sliding scale. So let's choose the 100K account. Okay, so if we take the 100K evaluation, we'll then be given the 100K funded account. So the 100K funded account will look the same as the evaluation one. We'll be able to trade 10 lots. We'll have a daily loss limit of $1,000 and a weekly loss limit of $2,000, and our maximum loss limit is $4,000. Excuse me. So at this first tier, we'll be on a 50-50 profit split. So as our balance increases, maximum exposure increases, we lose our daily loss limit, which is great. Our weekly loss limit increases, and our maximum loss limit increases, and as does our profit share in 10% increments. So when we start off with our funded account, we have a 50% profit split. Once we hit 10% profit, we then get 60%. We then have another 10% on top of the starting balance. Once we hit 120, we get 70%. And once we get to 130, we reach the maximum, which is the 80% split. Of course, what's important to look at in terms of the funded account scaling plans is what your loss limits are. This is essentially the most important thing. So once we make our 10% profit, we're then at a 10K loss limit. Once we hit 120K, we're at 15K. Okay, so the biggest jump here is at the beginning. So the scaling plan is pretty good, I would say. The loss limits aren't massive, and the profit share split is low initially. But as long as you can trade consistently and profitably, you can quickly get up to the 80% profit split, which is very good. The maximum trade size is very large as well, which is great. And then your loss limit increases quite a bit once we hit the higher echelons of the larger accounts. So this is pretty much the risk requirements that we had looked at before. This is for the live accounts. Everything's more or less the same. Remember, the maximum exposure is always, if you have multiple trades open, you need to make sure that cumulatively your max trade value is in line with the risk requirements. Withdrawals, this is something that's worth mentioning. Once you go into profit, you can withdraw your funds. Once you withdraw your funds, however, you will of course fall back down the scaling plan. So if you have 130K, say you're 30K in profit, and you withdraw all of that money, you will be back to square one again. And what's more, which is very, very important to mention, is the maximum drawdown, like I said before, is a trailing maximum drawdown. So what that means is as you make more money, your drawdown follows behind you. Now that is capped at the start of your fund size. So if you're trading a 100K fund, your drawdown will not go above that. However, what's very important to know is that if you, let's say you make 130k and you withdraw 30k, so your account balance goes back to 100k where it started from, that is where your trailing drawdown will have been and your account will be closed. So you have to make sure that if you withdraw funds, you still leave some funds in that account as a buffer to your drawdown, your maximum drawdown, or like I said, you will lose your account. So that's very important to bear in mind. So like I said, the profit split is based on a sliding scale. If you withdraw a large amount of money in one hit, the profit split will obviously just be paid off in according to that sliding scale. All right, so that's, I think, most of the important information from Traders4Traders, the funded trader program. Like I said before, Traders4Traders offers broadly a very large educational package. So if you're a complete beginner and you want to go through a set course on how to trade, it could be a good option. It's a very expensive course. And I'm not going to review it because I haven't taken the course, so I don't think that would be fair. It's very expensive, but if you're a complete beginner and you want to start a career in this industry, potentially it's something worth looking at. But today I've just looked at the funded trader program part of it, so you can get a broad comparison with some of the other programs that are on offer. So if this type of program is interesting for you, check out my channel. I have lots of reviews on funded trader programs. Subscribe. Leave a comment if you'd like to ask me a question, or if you have funded trader programs you'd like me to look at, and like the video. In the meantime, good luck.